Good morning, everyone. I'm here in our nursery, and I wanted to, even though you're far away, tell you one last story before we see each other again. And this is a story about a woman and her garden. And it has birds in it. And you may see that birds often flock together. You often see a lot of birds in groups together. But that's not true for all birds, and it's not true all the time. Birds are not always together, but they can still call to each other from far away. You might sometimes hear owls in your neighborhood calling to each other. They call from all over the place, all over the forest. And they don't live in big groups, but they still talk and call to one another. And that's kind of like what we're doing right now. And one day we'll flock again together. But my story goes like this. Once upon a time, there was a woman who had seen many beautiful gardens filled with birds of all kinds. And she had a longing that grew in her heart to also start a garden. So she went out in search to see what she could find, where would be a good place to make a garden. And she did find a place. And when she found that place, she began to walk around it, but it was very quiet. She did not hear the sounds of the birds calling. And she knew that she needed to do something to bring the birds to her. So she began to plant trees. She began to build garden beds. She put out food, and she put out bowls of water for the birds to splash around in. And she sent the love of her heart out into the world. And do you know what happened? The birds did hear that, and they began to come. All kinds of birds, big birds and little birds, birds with long beaks and birds with short beaks, birds that like to splash in the water, some birds that like to sit on the fence and watch, birds that liked to dig deep, deep, deep into the ground. There were birds of many colors, and they all had different songs to share with one another. Now one day, some of the birds had grown and had been there for a long time. They had hearts full of love, and their wings had grown. And they went to the woman of the garden, and they said, "May we go and see the other gardens around the world?" And the woman of the garden said, "Stretch your wings and see. What do they tell you?" And they did. They stretched their wings, and their wings felt something different. They felt very strong, and even their wings had a yearning in their heart. And so they knew it was time to fly out and see the other gardens. And so the woman of the garden said, "Take this love with you from our garden and spread it out over the wide world wherever you go. But sometimes fly back to me and tell me about the other gardens that you see." And there were other birds. They wanted to also stretch their wings, but they weren't quite ready to fly as far away. And so the woman said, "Take a little bit of love from the garden. Go peek over the other fences and just come back to me once the summer is over." And that is just what they did. And so today, we also think about the birds of our garden who are flying far and wide, and the ones who will come back again very soon. And I hope that during this time, you will take the love that we've shared together in our garden and share it with all the other birds of the world all the other many people you meet. And come back again soon, and we'll meet then. So right now we're going to remember our birds who are staying and will come back to the garden next year. Lola and Elika and Henry and Jasper and Zeke and Mireille and Vivi. And then we light a candle for our friends who will be flying far and wide. Theo and Arlo and Iris and Juniper and Stuart. Theo has wings and will fly far and wide. And Arlo has wings and will also fly far and wide. And Iris has wings to fly far and wide. And Juniper has wings to fly far and wide too. And Stuart also has wings to fly far and wide. Merry have we met, and merry have we been. Merry shall we part, and merry meet again. Blessings on our family and our friends. Hello, parents and Miss Tessa. I would like to share my thanks, especially with Miss Tessa. She has come here during an incredible year, and she has been full of love for the children, full of calm, full of peace. It's a year that I just could not have survived without her. And so, Tessa, I'm so grateful to you and to the love that you bring to the children and the love that you share with the world. I can't thank you enough. You came in your first year, and right away we had the surprises of my dad's crash and a pandemic, and you have been a wonderful, wonderful beacon of love and a steady presence to these children at a time when sometimes I haven't been able to be as available as I've wanted to be. And thank you so much to all of you parents for supporting me during this time, during this wild year for all of us. You are making it through an incredible time, and you have so much love to bring to this garden, and you're bringing that love into your home. It's already been there. And in all of our interesting ways, we are finding ways to care for one another, to share with our children how do we care for one another when we're both near and far to the people we love. And I'm so proud of you all of you. You've raised wonderful children, and they each are so unique and so loved. And I feel that love from you as well during this year. Thank you so much for supporting our nursery. Thank you for knowing that children's play, children's imaginations, the way they care for one another, those are what will change the world. Those are the things that will create a generation that hopefully can change this world for the better and lead us into a new time where we don't value so much achievement, but digging roots deep and giving so much care and thought into this world. And I'm so glad that I'm able to be with you guys, even if it's just a brief time, to share in these times with you. And they are very unforgettable. So again, thank you to everyone who's helped to grow these children, whether we're together or apart. I appreciate it, and I love you all so much, and your children so much, and I look forward to when we can see each other again, share hugs, hold babies, see our children just jump up, chest bump one another, maybe even shyly hide behind a tree because they're so excited. I look forward to that day. Thank you again. Bye-bye.